Congratulations, you got a little side hustle, and it now turns out that the government is going to be doing their best job and putting forward their best efforts in order to get a piece of that money. Let's talk about it. So in case you don't know, starting January 2022, the American Rescue Act now has a clause in it where they're going to be taxing income from apps like Zelle, PayPal, or Venmo, or even Cashapp. So basically, if you have a small side hustle where maybe you're making jewelry, maybe you're making soaps, maybe you're just doing, a couple of digital art pieces, commissions for your friends, and you're using apps like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle in order to receive payment, if you make more than $650 total, right? And now this $650 total has to be determined as business income. But if you make more than that, at the end of the year, these different apps are going to send you a 1099K. Basically, you're going to have to pay taxes on the money that you make. Now, what really bothers me about something like this is because these are super, super small businesses. I mean, these are basically people who have side hustles, right? You just make a couple of $100s here and there. Before, the rules were you had to be over $20,000 in transactions or over 200 transactions, right? Using these different types of platforms. And at that point in time, they would determine it business income, right? Once you hit those thresholds or went above those thresholds, it would be determined business income. And at the end of the year, you get a 1099K, which means that you're going to have to claim that money and pay taxes on it. But now with this new plan, they're doing it at $600. And that's $600 total, right? $600 total. No, just for the whole year. They're going to want you to pay taxes on that. So really, they're trying to really squeeze in and get every single dime they can out of you. So naturally, the next question would be, well, how would they know that the money that you're receiving from these apps are business income, right? Because let's say a lot of us, including myself, use these apps to send money back and forth. Whether you're paying somebody back for a meal, whether you're paying your share of the rent or maybe some money for some other bills, right? You're just exchanging money. You borrow some money, you need to give some money back. Whatever the case may be, you're using the apps to do this. Now, according to the plan, these type of transactions shouldn't be affected, right? This is something that you're not going to get taxed on. So the way that they sort these two things out, I'm not 100% sure. So what does that mean for you? Let's say that you maybe make jewelry, right? You got a small little side hustle going on. You make jewelry, maybe you print some t-shirts, whatever the case may be, right? And you're making a couple of dollars here and there, and you're using these different cash apps, right? Like Cash App or like Venmo, right? Or Zelle, for example, okay? So what should you do in these situations? Well, the simple answer is basically you're going to want to get your business affairs in order. Now, when I say get your business in order, I'm not saying that you have to make some type of elaborate plan where you go ahead and set up an LLC and all these different things. No, you might not need that, especially if you're just doing something small. What I'm saying is that you're going to want to get your accounts in order. You're going to want to make sure that you're separating your personal accounts from your business accounts, right? So any money that comes into you personally, that's on your personal side, but any money that you get as a result of your side hustle or your business, you're going to want to make sure you have a separate account set up for that. Also, you're going to want to make sure that now that you have this potential tax burden or tax liability that could be on your plate, you want to make sure that you're running your side hustle, even though how small it may be. You want to make sure that you're running it like an actual business. You want to make sure that you're taking the proper deductions, right? Because the whole goal is that, listen, you're putting out money to make these products, right? Maybe you're making something, you're crocheting a sweater for somebody, right? You're going to put out money to go buy the yarn and to buy the needles and everything else. Now, when you're doing it as a side hustle, it is what it is. You need it to make it. But when you're doing it as a business, yeah, you still need it to make it. And because you need those materials to make the end product, right, now the purchase of those materials become a tax write-off. Essentially, now it's an expense in your business, right? That's a deduction that you get against your taxes. So what it's really doing, what this plan is really doing is, it's trying to squeeze as much money as it can out of the little guy, of course, because that's always how it goes. But also, for those of you guys who might want to get serious about what you're actually doing, it's actually forcing you to get your affairs in order. It's actually forcing you to start looking at your business or your side hustle as a legit small business. And that means learning the game of business, learning about tax deductions, learning about profit and loss, and most importantly, keeping all your expenses separate. So with all that being said, another question you might ask yourself, does this mean I'm going to have to pay more in taxes at the end of the year? And the answer is maybe. It depends, right? If you get your things, you get your house in order, right? You learn about your deductions and your expenses. You might not have such a big tax burden at the end of the year. Also, if you don't make a whole bunch of money, you might not have any type of tax liability at the end of the year, but you do want to have a heads up, right? So you want to know that if you're using these apps or these platforms to process payments or to receive money, you might want to start to switch over to some type of accounting software, right? Or you're going to at the very least, want to make sure that whatever money you make from your side hustle, you want to make sure that it's going into a separate bank account, not your own personal bank account. This way, if anything were to ever happen in the future, you have your documents and your records right there. It's easier to sort out, even if you don't have everything, essentially all together. As long as you have those two things separate, you should be good to go. So that was my quick tip for what you can expect with, the new tax year in 2022. You want to make sure that you're just brushing up, learning what you can do. And also you don't want to be blindsided at the end of the year when you get a 1099K from a Cashapp or from a Venmo or even from Zelle. So hopefully you found this video useful. And if so, give me a like and drop me a comment. Let me know what's going on with you and your business right now. And for all my people out there who are trying to build a life on their terms so they can get it how they live, this is your man, Jonathan Moore, and I'm signing out. Peace.